Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Prynhawn da, diolch am ymuno. This is our first ever live session of our community living room series, as a lot of us are in our living rooms right now. So we're swapping community halls for community living rooms. And it's just our way of building our community, keeping sharing, keeping learning from one another, and keeping those connections going in what is a really tricky time for us all. So we just want to be able to provide a platform for all of the amazing projects and all of the amazing work that we know is still happening all across the UK. So we're really excited about that. So the Community Living series is a fortnightly thing. So every fortnight we will be live here on our page, interviewing a network member from around the UK, different person each time. And then the alternate fortnights, we've got our Zoom meetups, which is a place for you to come and vent or bring a current challenge or bring a positive story to help others keep them going. So today's is On the Couch live series. My name's Sam. I'm the community network developer in Wales. I'm in a little town called Llandrindod Wells in mid Wales. And as such, I'm super excited to be interviewing somebody from Wales, a lovely lady called Lucy, about her lovely project, Outside Lives, which, thinking about it now, is a really appropriate name, as we're all being encouraged to live outside at the moment. So I'm really excited to welcome her. Just before I do, just going to let you know that at any point during the chat with Lucy, if you want to have a question for her or a comment to make, feel free to post it in the comments, and I will try my very best to bring that into the conversation if I can. I'm extremely new to this as well, so fingers crossed nothing goes wrong. So I may not have the technical ability to bring that question in, but I will have a go at it. But yeah, please do. And if we can't do it during the interview, then Lucy or I will answer them later on that news feed. So without further ado, let's welcome Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Sam. You all right?
Thank you so much for joining us and for giving up your lunch hour to be with us. Don't worry, we're not going to be an hour. It is only 15 minutes. So first question that connects us all from across the UK is the weather. I can see that you're bringing the outside in there. What's it like where you are?
So I'm sitting in the conservatory. That's where we're working from at the moment, and we're lucky to be outside. But yeah, it's raining. It's really, really been quite wet this morning. We tried to put a gazebo up because we've got a couple of people coming over to work. So we put a gazebo up in the rain this morning. So I was absolutely drenched at 8 o'clock this morning. I should have done it yesterday when it was nice and sunny, but no, got up early to do it, and it was just torrential rain. So
yeah, it's like that here as well. It was really rainy this morning, but we've actually got the opposite. So now we are brightening up. So yeah, fingers crossed it might come up north. So yeah, tell us where you're calling from today, and about a little bit about where you're living.
Yep. So I'm in North Wales. I'm in a place called just outside of Mold in Gwynedd. So we've got a space on the earth which is Outside Lives HQ, which we've got a wildflower meadow, a garden, a vegetable growing patch, a nature pond, a bit of woodland, and a cabin where we run some of our workshops. We've got an outdoor kitchen and a marquee. So yeah, that's what Outside Lives HQ looks like, and that's where I am today.
I'm really excited to dig into that a little bit further in a second. So just describe us, because we can't touch or feel or see anything. Just describe to us what your community is like. I mean, we've got different people joining us from across the UK who'll be in cities and rural areas. Describe to us, yeah, where you're coming from.
Yeah, so we're a rural location. We're in a little, we're in between two villages. So we don't have any we've got a couple of immediate neighbours, but we've got the town's 2 miles away. So yeah, we connect with people across sort of Flintshire and Denbighshire. We're based right on the border between Flintshire and Denbighshire. In fact, the road that we sit on, Flintshire is one side and Denbighshire is the other. So people often get confused and think we are Flintshire, but we actually are from Denbighshire. So yeah, rural community.
I definitely fell into that trap. So when I was describing that you were joining us in sort of the text version of today, I was all for putting Flintshire in, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm not actually sure, so I'm just going to go the north of Wales.
It's great for us in that we have expanded our reach to both counties, whilst we are definitely we're in Denbighshire, but definitely closer to Flintshire people, if that makes sense. So the nearest town is further away in Denbighshire. So we connect with both, which has been really quite good for us as a social enterprise. It's been brilliant for us.
Fantastic. So having just mentioned the social enterprise, tell us about Outside Lives and all that it stands for.
Okay, so Outside Lives, where do you start? I suppose the best place to start is with our values and our mission. So I'm a social worker, and I left social work in 2018, October 2018, and I was determined to create something that I'd been talking about. You know, I'd been really passionate about connecting people, not through their challenges or their perceived problems or their diagnosis, but connecting people through the outdoors, nature, and things that they're interested in. And I took some time off social work, went traveling, and on my little motorbike, or big motorbike, to Spain, and went to a place in Granada and studied permaculture, which some people think of as a fancy way of gardening, but actually the principles behind permaculture, I realised, can be reflected in society and communities. And why that is because we are actually nature. You know, people often see humans as separate to nature. Yes, we're really, it's almost like we are separate to nature because we do such damage to nature, you know, but we're not. We are part of nature. So when I sort of took what I was learning and the value behaves behind that and put those same theories and practices on community, which have since read more about it, and people have done that, and there's lots of reading around that. You know, the values and principles that nature demonstrates, using that in community is a really good thing. So in terms of diversity, you know, and making sure there's people from all walks of life are contributing, often promotes a more resilient community. So the value base behind what we do: earth care, people care, future care. There are core values, and as long as what we do sticks with those values, we're pretty creative and flexible of what we deliver and what we do. So earth care is, you know, making sure we look after the planet, the environment, our immediate environment, nature, species, biodiversity. The people care is making sure we care for one another. You know, we celebrate difference and uniqueness and individuality. We promote diversity in our community, you know, and the future care is making sure we only take what we need, fair shares, making sure that we are good ancestors, that we are looking after the next generation in terms of their future. So yeah, they're the core values, and our mission really is to connect people and to connect our community through their interests and create a more resilient, stronger community that isn't reliant on, you know, other things, you know, that we can share our resources between ourselves and recognize each other's strengths, assets, skills, and, you know, promote those. You know, often people, you know, particularly when you think of social work and people who are experiencing challenges, you know, they're not asked, you know, what are you good at? What do you love? What's your passion? You know, people are conditioned really when they to tell everybody what their problems are or what's the struggle. And whilst there's a place for that, there's also a really much value in talking to people about what's really important to them. What do you love? You know, and connect people through that.
Absolutely, and you could just hear it in your voice that you found what you love, and the difference that makes to somebody when they find that thing, you know, and that's all that you're trying to bring out through Outside Lives, which is incredible.
And so the groups that have been developed through Outside Lives is exactly that. So we've listened to what people love and what they want, and we've developed 9 different groups of interest. So they range from art to nature to music to theatre and performance. I'm looking at I always forget them. To wildlife to adventure, you know. So there's all these different groups that are operating, and they're operating through people. So people that have connected through that interest are now doing different projects with us, or more recently, because of COVID, we've launched all of these groups on social media platforms, and actually it's just been incredible to watch, you know, people from all walks of life connecting through this interest, you know. So an example of that would be our Dig In group, which is all about gardening. And just watch. So there's, on that Facebook group, there is experienced gardeners to newbies like me, all mucking in and asking each other questions, posting pictures and videos, and it's just been beautiful to watch and sort of provide the platform for that to happen. And there's all sorts of initiatives have come up from that. Community plant swap tables, there's been 4 across Flintshire. People sending seeds to one another, sharing tips and stuff. It's just been lovely to see. So yeah, really exciting.
That is absolutely amazing. And you mentioned about going from social work to this only in 2018. So the first question that came to my mind was, we all carry out our day-to-day jobs, and we all have a dream of wanting to do a thing. So what was the spark for you that turned from the social work to where you are with Outside Lives today? Was there a particular moment?
Yeah, there was. I was getting frustrated. I was getting, I was swimming against the tide. I felt all the time, and I was harping on to people about how things should be, and my vision about, but I needed to do it, in order to talk about it, I needed to just demonstrate it. So that's what I thought, right, if there needs to be a change here, something's got to change. It can't work in this way, because all of these systems, I feel, all operate in silos themselves. You get the mental health team, you get the learning disabilities team, you get the pot of learning disabilities money, you get the pot of mental health team money. If you've got a mental health problem, you can't have a learning disability, or you can't have a physical disability. It all seems so segregated, and I felt that, to me, was dividing community more. It was causing more division, and I feel that from a grassroots perspective, we can do something very different if we connect people through what they're interested in. It really, I call it monocropping society. With monocropping people is the sort of service land, as I call it, not to slate services, because there's definitely a place there. I don't mean to do that. I don't want to get people's backs up, but for me, it's really important to make sure that people, for example, somebody in a wheelchair, they don't need to all go to one place which is accessible for wheelchairs, because they're going to need loads of support, and they're only going to meet people in wheelchairs. Those people in wheelchairs might not have anything in common at all. So it's like, we need to make everywhere, make it so that our community is diverse, so that we get to understand each other and different needs. I find one thing that I personally struggle is why we don't see people with profound disabilities in our communities. Why don't we see that when we're walking around town? They live there. Why? Because they're moving from their communities somewhere else where their needs can be accommodated for. Why can't we accommodate for those needs in our communities? It's really important. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Lucy. I'm sure that's resonating with a lot of people. And at this point, I'm going to bring in a question from Alison that's just come in on the comments. So I'll bring that in a second. So it's hard to remember that Outside Lives is 2 years young, if that. I remember having a conversation with you all.
2019, April 2019, we started. So there's been so much momentum, and COVID has actually I mean, we were just about to launch our groups and activities, like a schedule of activities, and then COVID hit. So it was like mid-March. At the end of March, we were due to have a big launch event, show everybody what we're doing, and then it was like, whoa, hang on, this is happening. How are we gonna adapt? We can't just stop here, that wasn't even on the agenda to stop, because we know the demographic of our community and the people that are involved with us, everybody. Yeah, there's lots of people within that community that are really going to need something from us now. We've got all these connections. What are we going to do? So we made the decision. Let's go digital. Let's go launch a YouTube channel. Let's launch all these Facebook, but not forgetting all of those people that aren't connected. How are we going to reach those as well? So all sorts has been happening since lockdown and COVID, and some of our funders have been brilliant in that we've adapted our applications to respond to this in a different way, and they've been brilliant. They've just said, yeah, that's brilliant, go for that. So we've been able to be really creative, and we've got a really lovely team of people here that are thinking about how we reach people and how we do things. So yeah, it's creativity, isn't it? It's just about adapting. And
brilliant. And it's a lesson to us all that launching is great, but you're doing the doing anyway, and sometimes just doing the doing is all and what people need, rather than the sort of the big launch, and you've just carried on regardless of and adapted. So it is easy to forget that it's so young, and you've done so much already with all of those various groups. Honestly, I'll put it in the chat later so that people can go on to the Outside Lives Facebook group and have a look at all that's happening. But with that in mind, we've got a question here from Alison, which I've just managed the technology, which is amazing in itself. So she says, I'm not very good at encouraging people to get involved with community projects and would rather hand it out to other people with more knowledge. How have you got people involved from the very beginning?
Yeah, great question. I suppose all sorts of different ways, really. So luckily I've got quite an established network of folk that I can call upon, and there's all sorts of people I've met through social work and different things that I've been involved in that I know can help or generate enthusiasm. But I suppose it's about having that passion and that drive, really then help. It lights fires in people. If you can connect with people and spark an interest somehow, then they invest. I mean, what I find is so important, and I think Sam, this, but co-production is, and it's a word, isn't it? It's jargon. Getting people involved from the offset is critical, and that is before you even come up with the ideas. If we can get people involved to generate ideas, they then invest. They invest their time, they invest their passions, they want it to work. They invite other people, so it's not solely on one person to do it. If you bring some people round the table, just a small group, and get them co-producing an idea, it just explodes because of that investment and that contribution from other people, and it shares that responsibility in terms of trying to gather people to your idea, or it's co-production. There's a lot of reading that can be done around that. We've got lots of tools that we can share with you about co-production. I work for another organisation called Do It, and we've developed a co-production tool where you sit around the table, and a bit difficult at the moment, but you can do it online, and you work out what you're trying to achieve and what your networks are, and map the assets of the people that are with you, and work on those assets to bring other people or other things involved into the mix.
That's amazing. And the other thing I draw upon from Outside Lives is to answer Alison's question, and Lucy, lovely to hear from you on it, is how you create welcome and atmosphere. So I've been to Outside Lives. It was the wettest day that you could ever imagine. I mean, wow, it was just, the weather was just something else. But there was something magical about that, the atmosphere that you managed to create there, and about being open and welcoming, so that people don't feel like they even necessarily need to have that passion or know about it until they've got there. But it's about holding that space for people to explore that passion. So yeah, any top tips that you've got on how you create that atmosphere?
For me, I mean, Sam, I got some of this from you. You know, I know you, that's what you do. You create that welcoming atmosphere. It's really important. You've delivered training on that welcoming atmosphere, how important it is to create a space where people feel comfortable. You know, I'm very visual. I love interior design and making spaces look and feel welcoming. You know, I like colour. I like all sorts of stuff, you know, comfortable chairs, cushions and everything, teas and coffees. I'm a hostess, you know. So yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? You know, you don't want to go into a plain old, you know, I've worked in offices for 15 years, and anybody that went into my office, it was full of plants, it was colours all over the wall. It was just a relaxed atmosphere. And when people are relaxed and feel welcome and comfortable, you're going to get so much more from people, you know. And they're going to want to return as well if you feed people as well. That's if you feed me, I know that's one of the things that makes me feel most welcomed. Someone brought us a cake today, so we've had a new vegan cake. It's gone.
So just before I let you go, Lucy, I'd love to just look at sort of what's next and future stuff. And I'm going to bring in a question from Lowry as we do that. So Lowry's saying, your energy is amazing, Lucy. Do you have any advice on how you've been keeping going or staying positive over the last few months for people who may be feeling really tired now? And if we think about it in terms of where we're going from here, and it feels like, you know, more further lockdowns are looming, how, you know, have you got any advice for anybody on how you stay so strong?
So, you know, I think everybody's got it. The Corona coaster, people, you know, you get this. Yeah. It's natural to have those ups and downs, and I think everybody must be feeling it. One thing I sat back to reflect on is that I could have gone out and done all of, you know, as community groups are doing so brilliantly, doing all the sort of response work, you know, making sure that everybody's got, you know, the things that they need, the medications, everything. That's brilliant for the people that are doing that. But I needed to stick to our value base. And what our value base was connecting people through their passions. So for me, everybody needs to be connected to a passion. It provides respite from those emotions. Yeah, it's overwhelming. What's going on in the world at the moment is huge. It's terrifying. It's overwhelming. But we need to remain connected to our passions, our beliefs. We need to raise our energy, keep our energy high, and you know, that will keep us healthy if we are happy, you know. So to be happy, we need to be passionate about something, and connecting to those passions for us is important. Just as important as getting the medications out to people and making sure everybody's got the food. So for us, it works in, you know, we're just doing something a bit differently. Yeah.
That's amazing. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling like an instant buzz from being with you, Lucy. We always say about needing to be in the same room as one another, but you've definitely flew out of the screen for me today. So thank you very much. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of people out there. So I've just got two quick fire questions about you now, just to end it in a sort of humorous way. So our series is called, no pressure to be funny, by the way. I'm clearly not. So our series is called On the Couch with Lucy Powell today. So who would be your choice of person to be on the couch with? Who would you like to interview in the whole world?
Gosh, I have no idea. Who would I be on the couch with? Maggie? Come here.
Oh,
I'd be on the couch with this one.
I think you've just won the hearts of the whole nation, Lucy.
This girl is my best friend, and she has kept me, you know, going back to the last question, she has kept me totally sane throughout all of this. I've just got Maggie Pie by my side constantly, 24/7. She's with me. So yeah, apart from David Attenborough and people like that, Maggie Pie would be who I'd be on the couch with.
Amazing. And everybody in their living room, when they're on the couch with somebody, has their favourite tipple. Keep it clean, Lucy. But you know, are you a tea or coffee kind of gal? What would you be going for?
I hated coffee as a youngster, and then when I went traveling to Spain, I remember drinking coffee, and at the beginning of it I didn't like it, and by the end of it I loved it. So a short shot of espresso is perfect for me, and I think I just said espresso, and my boyfriend's son would laugh at me because it's espresso. Yeah, so coffee.
Coffee is a good thing to end it on, I think. Thank you so much, Lucy. I think everybody needs a Lucy in their lives. You've definitely been my tonic today. Thanks for giving up your time. I know you're super busy. And I will see you again really soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sam. Bye, guys.
Bye. Wow, how amazing was that? Just what we needed on a Wednesday to get us through the rest of the week, I think. So thanks so much to Lucy. It just gives me time to let you know about some other bits and pieces that we've got going up as part of the wider programme. So if you're super quick, at 1 o'clock today, we've got a session with Ben Thurman happening on Zoom, talking about kindness in COVID. He's from the Carnegie UK organisation. So I will drop that quickly in the comments, and you, if you're speedy, you can join that. We've also got lots of other themed calls going on this week and next week. So if you head over to our Facebook page, all of the events are lined up on there. Next week, as I said at the beginning of today's live, we've got our network Zoom call, which is all for you to come and just chat and vent and talk to other people and connect with like-minded people running projects, and bring your challenges and questions to that. And then finally, just a shout out for our community camp. We usually run them at the Eden Project, but this year we're going online with them, like everything else is, which is a 5-week course, and it's helping you to track your community journey. So if you're somebody that maybe has an idea, or somebody that has been involved recently in community work, and you have a little taste for it and you want to take it a little bit further, then this course is completely free online, and we'd love to welcome you there. So I will put the link to that in the comments just after today's session as well. But thank you so much again for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and bye.